welcome back to our international viewers, and thank you for joining us once again for our daily English news edition. I'm Daniel Cook, your host, weekdays at 6 p.m., presenting a translated version of today's top news stories. The chairman of the SMI has openly supported a political solution for the judicial reform. The Assembly Speaker said today that political meetings are the only way to have a consensual and comprehensive process. Mr. Mehta said, "We have already started the process of justice reform with the idea of necessarily including the opposition. Now that the experts have given their contribution and the way has been paved by the Venice Commission, it is time to open parliamentary and political dialogue in order to proceed and consolidate. This should be done with the goal of making a final draft that will be certified by the internationals and especially by the Venice Commission," said Mr. Mehta. He appeared to be rejecting the adoption of the reform without the opposition. He continued, "Using these kind of done-deal politics for important issues that concern the citizens is unacceptable. The country has faced hasty and non-transparent decisions, which have had very negative effects. An example is the constitutional changes in 2008, the effects of which are still being felt today," said Mr. Mehta. He also responded to the accusations of the opposition, who have claimed that the majority is trying to take control of the justice system. He gave assurance that the SMI does not intend any such control. He went on, "The Venice recommendations are clear to all those who are professionals and those who are unilateral. For those who want to play, we will give our suggestions to the public so that they can be the judge of who is hampering this reform." Lastly, the SMI chairman expressed his support for the Ministry of Justice and the contribution that they gave on all points on which the experts could not agree. He promised that the SMI will cooperate with all the experts, including those of the Democratic Party. The weekly meeting between the Prime Minister and the Assembly Speaker was canceled today. When asked why, Prime Minister Rama deflected the question with humor, inviting the journalists under his umbrella. But with all the new political developments, it seems like the Prime Minister should invite his government ally, Ilir Mehta, under his umbrella. On his part, the SMI chairman, Ilir Mehta, spoke today in favor of a political solution for the justice reform, a different attitude than that of Eddie Rama. Also, sources say that the New Year dinner for the SMI and the Socialist Party has been postponed several times and may not happen at all this year. Apparently, there is some amount of division within the ruling coalition. To preserve the imagery, the Prime Minister may need his umbrella for the storm of problems from the justice reform, which can be overcome without the opposition, but not without Ilir Mehta and the SMI. A day after the experts published their draft for the justice reform, the Democrats have presented 11 out of the 138 recommendations of Venice, which they say must be included. Together with the vice chairman of the ad hoc commission, the opposition experts accused the majority of trying to take political control of the justice system. There are 11 recommendations that divide the opposition experts from the commission experts. The qualified majority required for appointing the chairman and members of justice institutions is the main point of disagreement. They insist that the selection of members must be with a qualified majority of 2/3. Additionally, they are unhappy that the final draft does not contain the Venice recommendation for the Prosecutor General's mandate. They do not agree on the role of the President in the selection and appointment of judges. And furthermore, they want the following Venice recommendations to be included: the establishment of a high administrative court, the power of the Constitutional Court to evaluate a law on reviewing the Constitution, and the recommendations for completely re-evaluating the justice system and the prosecution. Despite these disagreements, the Democratic Party has expressed readiness to find consensus on the draft. The recent floods have reopened the debate on the need for insurance for agricultural property. The Ministry of Agriculture has been talking about a new law that would make insurance coverage for agricultural businesses mandatory. But the farmers say that the insurance companies are not even willing to insure land that is exposed to flood risk. Others indicate that they have no knowledge or expertise in insuring their land, and they do not trust in the concept. One insurance company director spoke about the attitude of companies like his own, saying that they cannot take on the risk of 100%. He says that the farmers will first have to invest in preventing the floods through better embankments and drainage systems. Still, he says that the law is necessary and overdue. After this law enters into force, the insurance companies will begin an awareness campaign to motivate the Albanian farmers to insure their businesses. The Ministry of Agriculture and the emergency staff have released some official numbers on the recent floods in Albania. According to them, there were a total of 380 houses damaged. The head of the emergency staff also said that since no state of emergency was declared, there can be no compensation for businesses. Once again, he said that businesses cannot be compensated unless a state of emergency is declared by the government. Regarding other compensation, he explained that the delay is related to the preparation of documents by the local governments. He made an appeal to the populace not to make their homes near the riverbeds, as they should be aware of the perpetual flooding risk. He commented, "A report from the United Nations listed Albania as the highest risk country in Europe in terms of natural disasters and primarily floods." According to Prenci, the compensation will be distributed according to a new plan this year, and the construction of houses near riverbeds will be prohibited. Houses will have to be built in areas that are approved by the municipality. A meeting was held today on drafting the urban plans for 26 of Albania's municipalities. Present at the meeting, Prime Minister Rama remarked that the local government leaders must exhibit quality projects if they hope to benefit from the regional development funds. He said, "The funds for the development of the region are at your disposal, but you will only get what you deserve. You must be working on quality projects in order to deserve the funds, and you must give assurance that the money will not be spent in vain, like it has been for years." The Prime Minister also commented on the unplanned development of the regions over the last 25 years, which according to him have caused great damage, destroying Albania's nature. Also at the meeting today, the Minister of Urban Development, Eglantina Germeni, presented a project for digitizing construction permits, which will help protect the territories. "We have started to set up an electronic system for construction permits," she said, "and it will be part of the e-Albania portal. This system will help all the institutions involved in this process, facilitating interaction between the institutions. It will also shorten the deadlines for issuing construction permits and increase the transparency for the citizens," said Germani. The government has declared a winner in the competition for the urban plan for Tirana, the architect Stefani Boeri and the Unlab studio. Boeri is an architect in the University of Milan, and his projects are mainly focused on adding greenery to public spaces, biodiversity, and regenerating the environment. Soon, Tirana will have an urban plan designed by him after 25 years of unplanned and unstudied construction. The winner of the competition was revealed today by Mayor Veliaj. He writes on Twitter that there is an amazing task ahead that will mark a new beginning. That's the end of our edition for this evening. Thanks again for watching, and please join us again at 6 p.m. tomorrow for more news in English. Have a great night.